What's up, guys? Wanted to share something real quick with you. You may or may not know that we are having a virtual event this week. And I wanted to give you a few more details for those of you that this may be the first time you're hearing of it. So to end off 2021, we're holding a final Overages Mastery Summit. Okay. And what we're going to be covering is several very important things that are going to supercharge and change your business in 2022. Okay. The goal obviously is for you to make and to hit that six-figure goal in 2022. If you're already there, then how do we continue to grow and maximize that? Okay. So here's what we're going to be talking about in this summit. Okay. This is going to be a virtual summit. So it's going to be hosted online via Zoom. It will be recorded as well if you can't make the entire thing. Okay. What will be covered? First thing is, well, how can you overcome fee limitations in those states that have them so that you can work in areas that you may want to work in? Perhaps you live in a state that has a fee limitation, or perhaps you want to work in a state that has less competition, because those states that have fee limitations, people tend to avoid those states because they don't know how to structure deals differently in order to get around those fee limitations legally. And so what we'll be covering is, okay, how can we structure the deal differently so that one, you can overcome the fee limitation, have less competition, and double your income per deal that you do. Okay. There's some examples of this. Okay. For example, this deal right here that we did, we were able to profit over $5,000 on this deal because we were able to structure the deal differently. However, if we didn't know how to do this, we would have been limited to a $2,500 fee. But because we knew how to structure things differently, and this is what you will learn in the summit, we were able to double our profit on this deal. Here's a different example from this year, earlier this year. This was a smaller deal. You know, we only profited $5,000 on this deal. But if we weren't able to overcome the fee limitation, we would have only gotten $1,100 on this deal. Okay. So can you see the importance of this knowledge and knowing how to overcome fee limitations? Here's another deal. We're able to profit $5,900 on this deal. I'm sorry, excuse me. That would have been our profit if we had stuck to the fee limitation. But because we structured the deal differently, we actually netted $11,000. Okay. So again, almost doubled our profit. Okay. A little less than double on this one. So it's very important that you know and have this skill if you want to succeed in this business. Okay. The other thing we're going to be covering is, okay, how do we turn dead leads into big paydays? Now, let me define dead leads. A dead lead is where you have an overage, but then during your research, you discover there is a lien or a debt that exceeds the actual overage or surplus amount. That would be considered a dead lead, okay? But there are ways to turn those leads into actual paydays. For example, this deal right here, this property generated over $100,000 in surplus when it went to the auction. The problem that we discovered, though, was, well, there was a $178,000 lien. So most folks would just skip over this deal, right? This would be a dead lead because the debt or the lien is greater than the actual overage. So why would you bother going after this? Well, if you have advanced knowledge and you know how to structure things differently and how to be able to negotiate and things of that nature, you can turn dead leads into paydays like this one. What looked like a dead lead actually ended up being over a $14,000 profit for us. Now I'm going to teach you how to do that, how to take those leads that everyone throws in the trash and how to cash flow those leads, okay, and how to profit from them. Here's another example. This property had a second mortgage. The second mortgage actually exceeded the surplus. However, we were able to overcome and solve that problem, and it turned into a $15,000 profit for us, one of our better deals. Okay. The other thing that we're going to be covering during the summit is, okay, how do we handle cases where the claimant is deceased? And if you are working this business, you know this is very common. A lot of foreclosures and tax sales are caused by the death of the homeowner, okay? Lots of people will skip over these leads because they don't know how to deal with them. They don't know how to deal with the heirs, or they just don't want to deal with doing a probate because it's timely, it's costly, and it's just too much hassle for a lot of folks. I can tell you right now, though, that those that have that mindset are leaving a lot of money on the table. There are actually ways to handle cases where the claimant is deceased without having to go through probate. And I have several examples of doing that as well. For example, this was a deceased, the homeowner was deceased, and we recovered the surplus for their siblings. Okay, they weren't married, they had no children, but they had living siblings. And so we were able to net over $6,000, but we didn't have to go through probate, which saved us a ton in legal fees, saved us time. In fact, our expenses on this deal were less than $500. So not a bad investment, right? Like, you tell me, would you spend $500 in order to get back $6,000? Would you do that? Does that math make sense to you? Okay, so we're going to show you how that works. Another deal right here. This was a very interesting deal. This person also was deceased, had no children, no family, no spouse, and their only sibling actually lived out of state. It was it's quite the deal, but we were able to get it done. Didn't have to go through probate. It was a little more costly because we did have to, find this person, and I think we paid a referral fee on this. And but our expenses were still under $750, so not bad, right? And our net profit ended up being over $10,000. So no probate. Took about 3 or 4 months, if I remember correctly, and our expenses were less than $1,000. So again, would you do the math on that? Does the math make sense? Would you spend $1,000 or less in order to make 10,000? But here's the other thing, guys. Don't get tripped up on the expenses too, because the other thing too is, well, we could have paid more. Maybe we could have doubled this and paid $1,500. But if that $1,500 would have been taken out on the back end, meaning the attorney worked on contingency, we would have been out of pocket nothing. So don't get tripped up on expenses, because if you don't have money up front, you can always negotiate contingency fees with your attorneys, okay? Something very important to remember. Another deal we did, this was another estate case where the homeowner had passed away, and we helped the siblings recover the funds. So that was a good deal as well. The other thing we'll be covering is, okay, let's say you come across someone, you find them, and they say no. Or let's say you have someone that you just can't get a hold of. You can't find the claimant. Can you still do the deal? In some cases you can. And we'll be covering what scenarios that will work. And even in the case where someone denies you or turns you down, well, how can you still turn that lemon into lemonade, so to speak? How can you still get paid on that deal? Like, for example, this case right here, I did not recover any funds from this property. The claimants knew about the funds. They were going to pursue it themselves. However, they did need a little bit of assistance, and so I offered my help, and ended up getting paid $500 for about an hour's worth of time. It wasn't a ton of work on my end. And, at the end of the day, I knew that they were going to do it themselves. They were very upfront and straight with me and honest. And so I just left the door open and said, hey, I hope all works out for you. If you need anything, let me know, and happy to help. And I was able to help them a little bit, and I got paid $500 for an hour's worth of work. So not a bad deal, right? How many of you make $500 an hour? If you do, turn this off. You just keep doing what you're doing. The other thing we're going to be talking about, guys, is systems to scale. So how can you take yourself out of the business so that you're not doing everything yourself? Which when you learn how to do that, it allows you to scale. I still run a very small shop. I'm not big by any means. There's bigger companies out there than me. But the bottom line is I'm not doing everything myself either. And I don't need to be big. I don't need to be making millions and millions of dollars a year to achieve my goals and my lifestyle goals. This is a lifestyle business for me. What does that mean? It means it pays for the lifestyle I want to have. And my lifestyle is pretty simple. But nevertheless, you do need to learn how to be able to scale and take yourself out of parts of the business so that you can work more areas, do more deals, and just bottom line, help more people, which if you help more people, you're going to make more money. That's the bottom line. And then also not just the money, but free up your time, right? If you make a bunch of money and you have no time to spend it or to enjoy it with your loved ones, what's the point? What's the point of making a bunch of money? There is no point. If you have no time to actually enjoy the fruits of your labor, it's asinine. It's crazy. Okay. So there's two ends of the spectrum, right? There's one end of the spectrum, which is not making enough money. And then there's another end of the spectrum where you make a ton of money or plenty of money, but you got no time. We want to find that middle ground. Okay. And this business can do that. And then finally, what we're going to do is we're going to go over an exact and specific blueprint for you so that when you're done attending this summit, you will have an outline and a step-by-step action plan of how to generate six figures in your surplus funds / overage recovery business in 2022. Okay. Exactly step-by-step what it is you need to do, what it is you need to be tracking on a daily basis, weekly, monthly, so that you can hit your financial goals in your recovery business for 2022. This is a great opportunity while most people are sitting back, relaxing, enjoying the holidays, which by all means do that. But while people are letting off the gas, you'll be getting a head start on everyone else. And you'll be able to hit the ground running for 2022 and have an exact blueprint of how to achieve your financial goals using surplus funds and overages. So that's what we're going to be covering in the summit. Okay. So the question is, would you like to come? Would you like to attend? We've got a few spots. This is not going to be a big event. It's going to be fairly small. We've got a few spots left. The dates are December 17th and 18th. So this weekend, right? Coming up very soon. It will be a virtual event. It'll all be on Zoom. It will be recorded. So if you can't make the whole thing, that's cool. You'll have the recordings to refer to forever. We're going to go all day, guys. We're going to go from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Maybe longer if we get through earlier, cool. But it's going to be an all-day affair, both days, okay? And the price, it's going to be expensive, okay? I will say this, guys. This is not an event. If you are not serious about generating six figures in your surplus funds business next year, this is not a good fit for you. If you cannot dedicate a minimum of 10 hours a week next year, you shouldn't join this. Okay. So that's the bottom line. It is expensive, but at the end of the day, if it allows you to overcome fee limitations, if it saves you thousands of dollars in attorney fees by not having to go through probate, just one deal is going to pay for the entire thing. So it is what it is. It is expensive. It's $4,800, okay, to attend. However, if we can, if you join before noon, December 16th, so that we know exactly who's going to be there and we have a commitment from you, then we'll give you $1,000 off. So it's $3,800 if you join by December 16th, noon Mountain Time. So that's it, guys. If you're interested, just shoot me an email, nick@overagesyndicate.com, and just put "I'm in" the subject line, and we'll get you all set up. We'll get you going. And I want to help you make 6 figures in 2022. So that's it. Pretty simple offer. If you see the value in it, great. Would love to have you. If you don't, that's cool too. Hopefully you had a few takeaways from this video and found some value in it. That's all I've got for you guys. So I look forward to having you this weekend at the virtual summit. And regardless if you join or not, I wish you the best for 2022 in your business. And we'll see you later. Thanks, guys.